Okay, I think the first thing which an MBA institute teaches you is to be on time, and hence I think we should start the session right on time. I know हम लोग भारतीय हैं और धीरे-धीरे join करेंगे. I'm sure this number which is showing me 111 currently will reach to around 200 plus, and I know the excitement of the audience to see these people speaking who are on your screen, including Karanpreet or Abhin or Komal or Ashish, Roshan and Jimit, and along with the moderator Rakhi ma'am who will be taking you through. So guys, let me give you a brief about myself. My name is Rohan. आप मुझे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे आपके स्क्रीन पे देख पा रहे होंगे. An engineer by profession, and I am Calcutta alumnus, and I am into a core team of career launcher across India. Right, I am heading the west region of career launcher, particularly here. And today's session is not about me, not about my journey. It's all about these people. ये जो stars आपके screen पे दिख रहे हैं, इन लोगों से आपको बात करने का मौका मिलेगा. And I will not, disturb you, or I will not take much of your time. I'll introduce Rakhi ma'am to you guys, and probably she will be one of your contact where आपके सवाल सीधा उनके पास जाएंगे, because you can only chat with Rakhi ma'am. I have disabled the chat with others. So आपको जो भी सवाल हैं आप राखी मैम को डायरेक्ट कीजिएगा, and she will send it to the respective member who is there in the panel. ठीक है? So just introducing Rakhi ma'am, she is one of the wonderful mentors, and I'm sure you will enjoy her session. The type of passion she have towards students is really remarkable, and I have very rarely seen a person so passionate about kids and their careers. So just to give you a warm introduction, Rakhi ma'am, stage is all yours. Please take it forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. Okay, so I think we should start our session. It's already 6:05. So first of all, let me give a big thanks to all of our speakers who accepted our invitations and managed to find time from
Ma'am, you can put your if you can put your video on, I think friends will be able to see you.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, that is fine. If you want to intentionally, if you have kept it off, it is okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. So, as I said, first of all, let me give a big thanks. Thank you, guys. Thank you for accepting my invitations and managed to find time from their busy schedule for this webinar. So thank you for being here, and also thanks to all our attendees for joining this webinar. So now, without wasting time, let me start this session. All can see my screen, right? This is one second.
Yeah, your screen is visible, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So this is the agenda. This is the agenda for this session. It's now my great pleasure to introduce for our first two speakers. First two speakers are Komal Sahu and Abhin Kakkad. So they will discuss on life before B schools. So if I talk about Komal, she is a very hardworking and talented girl. She is pursuing MBA from IIM Lucknow. She has 3+ years experience in IT, and she is a great inspiration for those who believe that they can't manage their preparation with work. And if I talk about Abhin, he is studying in IIM Ahmedabad. He performed brilliantly in his ACADS with CAT preparation. Even he got a job offer in Deloitte through campus placements while he was preparing for CAT. So he was also a member of various clubs. So thank you, Komal and Abhin. So please, now over to you. Yes. Yes, Komal and Abhin, please. Now it's over to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for such a great introduction. And as ma'am rightly said that I was working in IT industry before joining IIM Lucknow. So I'm the student of IIM Lucknow of the batch 2019-2021. And before joining IIM Lucknow, I was working in Tata Consultancy Services in Gujarat, Gandhinagar. And I have 3+ work in DBA, yeah, that database administration in IT. So today, yeah, and a great round of applause for all of you for joining today and for this motivational talk for your, you know, for your benefits. If I talk about the life before the, you know, before MBA, frankly speaking, it was full of struggle. It was like full of plannings and full day occupation, full day discussing things with the friends and the teachers and everyone. So I think I would like to say that when you are currently preparing, when you are focusing on the CAT, either you are a student or you are working in the IT industry or in any industry, I think what you should right now is to focus on your planning. Make a strategy as to how you can study, how you can take the best out of the current time, which is, this virtual time. Because currently you would not be engaged in the, schools, in colleges and in the professional occupation. So I think this is the best time when you got the time for yourself and your studies. So I think this is the time when you can mostly focus on your weak areas and your strong areas where you could work more. Because yeah, I remember that I started my frankly speaking, I started my rigorous studies for CAT in June, July.
I think Komal has lost connection.
Yes, Abhin, yeah, you can start. Yes.
Sure. Thank you for the great introduction, Rakhi ma'am. It's a pleasure being over here. And thank you
अभी
a lot.
थोड़ा वॉल्यूम बेटा कम है, थोड़ा सा पास में आके बोलो माइक के. हाँ.
Am I audible? Is it better now?
Yeah, perfect now.
Okay, great. So thanks a lot to all the participants who have come here to attend this webinar today. So starting off, since the topic is life before B School, I would like to start with my journey to IIM Ahmedabad. It started when I was in my 10th standard, and that was the first time I visited IIM Ahmedabad and actually experienced the whole IMA day. It's called Life at IMA program, and we went there as a part of a school trip. So since that day, I had decided, or rather, I had dreamt of being in that Red Bricks building. So even when I started CAT coaching, I had always thought of IIM Ahmedabad as the goal. And as they say, try for the moon and you will land up amongst the stars. So all my mentors who were there when I was preparing for my CAT know that since day one, or rather day zero, I was always saying that I want to be at IIM Ahmedabad and nowhere else. But yeah, once you give CAT, the reality sets in, and then you need to be a little more practical, but still not lose sight of the whole goal. So coming to the CAT prep, since this is a calculation that I have made for a lot of my mentees, and overall I put in somewhere around 1200 hours into preparing for CAT, including classes, mocks, extra sessions, self-studies, etc., etc. And I would say that that is one journey or one experience that I cherish the most. And that is the one time in my life that I have gone above and beyond to achieve that one goal of getting into IIM Ahmedabad.
Again, can you just repeat the number of hours? I want every student to listen to the number of hours. भैया IIM Ahmedabad जाना सबका सपना होता है, पर देख लो कितना लड़ाई लड़ना पड़ता है. Just repeat that number again to every kid.
Sure. So total number of hours, of course, this was over a period of 12 to 15 months, but the total number of hours that I put in was somewhere in the range of 1200. And I'm pretty sure everyone who was preparing along with me also put in the same number of hours. And yeah, this is a journey that you are going to cherish the most once you are in your preferred B school. And since I'm a fresher and that too a gem fresher, it was a little bit more difficult to get into the top B school. And it was the most important part was balancing the engineering studies along with my CAT prep. Yeah, and as Raki ma'am said, I sat for placements, got a job, and I rejected that job offer just because I felt that I didn't want a backup and I didn't really want to get into the comfort zone of having a job, so that just in case if things went south, I had somewhere that I could land up. And that kind of motivated me to put in my best. And I had a lot of support throughout this journey. Right from the day I started my prep, I had my own teachers, I had my peers, Roshan being one of them today. Roshan, Jimit, Ashish, all were there throughout the journey with me. And yeah, after that, obviously my parents and especially my sister. So through the journey, Komal was talking about, and she will be talking about how to strategize. So I'll just have one tip for you about how to prepare for CAT. And I would say that give as many mocks as possible. And after the mocks, the most important part is analyzing the mocks. So give as many mocks as possible, analyze all of them. And when it comes to the interview phase, give as many interviews as possible. In the end, it should you must be in such a position that you are capable enough of choosing the B school, and it should not be the other way around, that you just say yes to whatever B school takes you in. Coming to the part inside IIM Ahmedabad, the journey has been a roller coaster. There have been various opportunities, and the learnings are so many that sometimes you need to decide how much of it you can actually take in. I would like to tell some of the learnings that I have gained over 1 year, and this is something that all of you, might look forward to. Okay, what actually MBA is all about. So I'll just list them out. One is the practical leadership and management skills. MBA is all about taking ownership and working in teams. Second, doing an MBA sends a signal to the market that you have a certain credential for yourself. The third is obviously the networking opportunity with the top leaders in a firm, or even in a B school. And last but not the least, the most important thing is the ability to combine all aspects of management and to enhance a business opportunity, and making decisions such that this actually happens. Given the current situation, a lot of you might have this dilemma that should we actually pursue MBA right now or not? Uh, let's just say that the main skills that MBA teaches you, like agility, tackling stress, leadership, decision making and uncertainty, thinking outside the box, and so many other jargons. But these are the skills that actually MBA teaches you, and these are the skills which will be required once you step into the real world. And in the post-COVID situation, these are one of the skills that will be in the highest demand in the market. And yeah, managers need to take tough calls, and in this pandemic situation where nothing is everything is unprecedented, people will need MBAs to make this possible. So coming to how MBA life has changed the perspective of the things prior to B school and after B school. If you think in just layman's term, this pandemic is highly negative. But from an MBA's perspective, I see an opportunity to make a mark in the post-pandemic world where the doors are opening left and right. Let's say if you are the person who comes up with any single idea that saves a dying product or helps in the successful merger or acquisition, then it's a career maker right now. Because if you ask any person from the 2008 batch who had suffered the global recession, they will tell you that those are the times that have actually made them what they are today. Because this is the lowest that it can get. I hope it doesn't get lower than this, but yeah, if you think about it, there is no better opportunity for a manager than to actually make things work out in such a bad situation. And yeah, of course, there is a downside as well to the situation, that the salaries will be affected. But I would say that right now, if you think about MBA, then you shouldn't be actually focusing on choosing your goal just based on the money that you are going to get. It's a very big life decision, and money is not the only thing in life. So obviously, pandemic will start slowing things down. Many other so the money flowing in will reduce. Obviously, work cultures are getting affected, opportunities are reducing, but there are new fields that are opening up in HR, IT management, because firms are seeing the benefits of WFH culture. And yeah, at the end of the day, businesses are going to run, and MBA is all about being in the right place at the right time. And if you manage to do that, then as soon as the company or the organization, whatever you are in, starts doing better, you will also be upgraded accordingly. So given all this, given the benefits of MBA after, and the scope that I see currently, uh, it is very important that you put in your best during this time. I recall a few days back, a person had called me saying that I have only 5 months left, and will I be able to prepare for CAT just in time, which is in November last week. So I again had the same calculation that if you had to spend 12 hours, 1200 hours, it comes around to 9 to 10 hours of preparation daily. And if you are a working person, or if you are still in college, then I'm pretty sure that 9 to 10 hours a day is very much feasible during this time, because every one of you, mostly every one of you, will be at their homes, and there are a lot of there are a lot of responsibilities that you don't have currently. So yeah, this is the best time that you can take advantage of when you are preparing for CAT. And for people who are going to prepare, who are appearing for CAT next year, then I must say that you have a golden time ahead of you. 18 months is like a lot of time. So give in your best, and yeah, put in as many hours as possible. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Abhin. Kamal, I think Kamal is back. Maybe Kamal Sahu.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, everyone. It was a network issue. So yeah, I was talking about the life before the MBA life, like how was it? So you can say that I did not have the idea of to which college I was about to go, I was entering into. But yeah, the thing which I had in my mind was to prepare myself best for the exams and prepare myself best for the interviews. So I was the working professional and I did not have much time for the left with me to prepare for the exams and everything. So I planned my day in a way so that I can utilize it in a full like to the fullest, like studying in the morning.
Komal, I think again lost contact.
I think the network issue problem.
Okay. Can I ask one question to Abhin?
Sure.
Abhin, तुमने कहा मतलब there is a one common conception, you being a gem and a fresher. So
Right.
हमारे बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं जिनको डर लगता है कि सर हम तो जेम फ्रेशर हैं, हमारा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. You are a live example कि even I am Ahmedabad ex-fresher, and even Karanpreet can add up because she is also one of the fresher at I am Ahmedabad. So can you just put a one-liner or two-liner for giving these people a confidence कि यार जेम होना, fresher होना कोई पाप नहीं हो गया है?
Yeah, so obviously we are the outcasted community, no doubt about it, when it comes to B school admissions.
Right.
But at the end of the day, and yeah, I am in a position to speak about this right now, that at the end of the day, I made it. So it's not something that is impossible. And yeah, there are many examples of gym freshers that I can give you. Two of us are here today with us. So they also have faced the same issues that I have faced. And in the end, if you look at, I can speak for I am Ahmedabad, that if you look at a scale of 0 to 100 on which you are graded, then as a gym fresher, you just get 80 marks, because 20 are lost because of your category, or because of your diversity, or because of your gender, or because of your work ex.
Correct.
And but still, at the end of the day, you have that 80 marks with you, and it is your responsibility and those are your efforts that you have in your own hands to make the maximum out of those 80. And as a gym fresher, if you are able to do that, and in fact not only a gym fresher, or let's say any fresher, if you are able to make that possible, then I can actually say that during your MBA you are going to have a very good life, because you have already you have that experience of work, of hard work.
Correct. Right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Rakhi,
Thanks, Ron.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Abhin and Kamal. So our next speaker is Roshan Shah. Roshan Shah is studying in XLRI, Jamshedpur, and he secured 99.89 percentile in CAT and 99.82 percentile in ZAT. So, and Roshan is actively participated in quiz and clubs, and also he won many competitions. So, Roshan, the topic on which I want to request you to speak on is ACADS part. Okay. Yes, Roshan, please.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and a wonderful introduction. So I'm audible, right?
Yes, Abhin. Roshan, yes.
Yeah. So I'll talk about ACADS, and I'll break it into two parts. First will be the relevance of ACADS before MBA, the kind of stuff that you have to deal right now, and the role and the relevance of ACADS during MBA. So first thing first, before MBA. So what does ACADS prove? Like, we consistently talk on topics about, like, do grades really matter or not? They definitely do. So why? Because ACADS show your consistency, and it is more important for a fresher. Like, I was also a fresher. So more important for a fresher because it is the only medium for you to show some kind of consistency, that you have been consistently good 10th, 12th, undergrad or so. So it becomes one point to prove something. Also, in interviews, it really helps to know for the interviewer whether you actually learned stuff or just passed exams. And based on that judgment, they can like think of whether to give you an opportunity in their prestigious institute or not. Later on, you will realize when you will join MBA, and if you sit for placements, so that a good CQ is also preferred for certain kind of roles. That will come to later, but yeah, it is preferred in some roles. However, that is not the only determining factor, and someone with okay grades or low grades can also make that. But yeah, it does help if you have strong ACADS. Now we'll go to talk about ACADS, what happens during MBA, right? So I'll talk about subjects first. So there are many fields to cover in MBA, like prominently marketing, finance, ops, strategy, economics. Some schools teach information systems too, and HR. So subject matter knowledge is important to acquire because it enables you to think like a manager. Different subjects add a different dimension to your thought process. For example, I'll take an example. Like, marketing will help you to understand what product to build and how to sell it. Operations and supply chain would help you streamline the manufacturing and get it delivered to the customer. Economics would help you understand the market and how your competitor makes choices. Finance helps you manage your sources and expenses or investments out, so like how to grow your company. Strategy helps you define in what direction to move and what steps to take from a corporate perspective. That usually comes at some later point in your career. Information system enable connecting your company, and HR helps you manage your people. So what you usually do is explore all of them in first year, and I would recommend to do so. Like, you might have some bias before going in MBA, but I would like you to explore all the subjects, because I have seen a few of my peers discover some love for some particular subject. So that might happen to you too. So be open. And usually second year is filled with choosing your own electives, and it's usually the subjects you choose that you probably want to see your next 5 to 6 years in the career in, right? So you select the electives accordingly. That is what basically ACADS is. Now, you have to balance ACADS with, there is a lot of stuff that goes in a B school. There are case competitions which like happen every week. There is a huge involvement of committees, and there are so many committees. Like that is much higher than your undergrad. There is sport probably if you play, and all this stuff is very important to do at a B school. Apart from ACADS too, right? Because you want a holistic growth and not just want to mug up some stuff. Uh, Now I'll tell why CQ is important in during MBA. Like before that, it helps you get into a B school. But why is it important during MBA, right? So at the very least, it enables choice for you. It might change from B school to B school, but this is my personal experience that some electives might have some caps, and there is some elective that you really want to take because you resonate with it, but there might be some caps by grades or CQ. So it's best that you have the requisite grade to be there. Sometimes it helps you convert things like student exchange, which it's not happening this year, sadly. But yeah, sometimes CQ is a factor in student exchange too. Uh, Also, as told earlier, a good CQ is still considered as a sign of consistency, and you have if you can manage a good CQ with all those things in a B school, it's really pursued very good. Now, what my rule is, what is the rule I go by? It's like you don't need to top everything, right? That might not be possible while balancing all the subjects, and it also doesn't come naturally to everyone to be like the first 1% also. So I try to manage myself like I always want to be in the first 30 percentile, top 30 percentile. It's very easy to do so if you balance it. Like you have to really do very bad to like slip into the last 30 percentile or so. But if you do a balanced thing, you will be able to easily get into top 30 percentile, and all the choices are still enabled for you. So I'll just give a brief guide like how I did it or how to do so. So there are multiple components like exam, quizzes, assignments, projects attended. What I try to do is try to pay attention in class itself, as most of the stuff is conceptual in nature. A clear idea in the class itself will reduce a lot of effort towards the end. This will help a lot. You might not need to put effort. You might need to put effort in some specific subjects outside of class, which is like for engineers, it's accountancy subjects. It doesn't come naturally to us, and you will have to put effort. And for people with without like who are not engineers, they will have to put some effort in subjects with math background. uh, I would really recommend to try out different projects which haven't been tried before, like in the previous batch or in the your batch. It impacts your resume also positively, because a recruiter can see that it's not the same thing again and again, and it helps you to stand out from the crowd. uh, Lastly, I want to end it with that although ACADS impact, it's not everything. You have to participate in various activities at college too. And once you join, you will realize that although ACADS are good stepping stones, that they are the fundamental that you need to be clear with, but some of the best knowledge does come from peer learning. And I would think that it was somewhat also true for the prep part, which will come later. But because there is a lot of diverse set of people coming in, and this is a very plus point of MBA, I think. There are like 200, 300 very different people coming from different life experiences and different parts of the country. So if you share and like learn from their knowledge, you probably can learn, understand some complete industries from some person, right? So I do think that, yeah, that's my point on ACADS.
Okay, thank you, Roshan. So our next speaker is Karanpreet. Karanpreet, actually, he is pursuing MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and she graduated with a BA degree in psychology. So, and Karanpreet secured 99.62 percentile in CAT. She is a great inspiration for those who are having no maths background actually. Okay. So, Karanpreet, could you please shed some light on opportunities after B schools? Yes, Karanpreet, yes, please.
Sure, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, perfect.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So, I'll be talking to you about the opportunities after B school. So, firstly, we'd like to discuss. I'd like to tell you what do you learn in a typical MBA duration. So, like Abhin already mentioned, there are certain skills that you get to capture when you are studying in the MBA college or any B school. Those are typical like strategic thinking, logical thinking, decision making, working with team members, solving interpersonal conflicts. Now, all of these skills could be utilized one in becoming a manager. Now, you guys can become a manager in any of the companies that currently stand, because every company will need a manager to manage the people. The typical sectors which the B schools usually see are finance, consulting, marketing, general management, product management, and the manufacturing sector. So that is the typical position of a manager where you get to pursue your career in. The second set of opportunities that I'm talking about is about the entrepreneurship opportunities. So, along with the ability to thinking about innovations in the sector, or giving you the courage and confidence to pursue your dream or your dream idea, these B schools also provide you with a platform to pursue those ideas. So many of the B schools have these student-run cells, entrepreneurship cells, or externally funded and entrepreneurship cells, which help you to give you the necessary resources, the necessary mentorship that you require, and the necessary network that you require to pursue your idea. So if you have any such idea, be it in the field of social entrepreneurship or for profit, or in the field of green entrepreneurship, you must try and leverage the B school opportunities into turning your dream into a reality. Now, the third set of opportunities would be coming from people who, after graduating from a B school, have no relation to the traditional management field, but these people are pursuing their careers as cricket commentators or as authors, or pursuing their life careers in performing arts or becoming journalists. So now these people have done their MBA, but the skills that they have taken from the B schools are the skills which actually are required in the life. For example, managing interpersonal conflicts, taking decisions in uncertainty, strategic thinking, presentation skills, persuasive argument building. So all of these skills are also helpful in every walk of life. So no matter what career you choose, the MBA acts as a backbone in providing you with the skills to success in any field that you choose. So I want to sum up my part of the piece by telling you that these B schools are like a launch pad. Now, in which direction you want to go or how far you want to go is totally up to you. But make sure you utilize the launch pad in the best way that you can. Thank you, Rakhi.
Thank you, KP. Yes, so our next speaker is Ashish Motwani, and he is pursuing MBA from MDI Gurgaon. And Ashish graduated with a BCom degree. And if I want to describe him in a single sentence, I would say he is a perfect HR guy. Perfect HR guy means humble and talented. So he will share his experience of clubs and committees of these schools. So Ashish, please, yes.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. And as ma'am has already introduced, I am from HR. So many things mold your career and your attitude and overall character. So being down to earth or being humble is one of the things that every manager or every person should possess in life. It takes you to many places. It brings you many opportunities, many new opportunities. So try to be calm and polite to everyone in every situation. So if I talk about my experience of clubs and committees or in general in B schools, so what happens is there are various clubs and committees, be it academic clubs, be it activity clubs. I would describe in detail later. Then there are few of them event clubs, and then there is sports committee, cultural committee, and all such. So for example, in academic clubs, you have a different committee or a club for HR, for marketing, for finance, for strategy, all those. So what these clubs specifically do, they pull out content or relevant news for that club. For example, a marketing club would focus on news or articles that are related to marketing. They would also bring in new quizzes or many new startups that are doing well or have something innovative but related to marketing. Similar goes with HR, finance, and operations and strategy. And apart from those, there are activity clubs like alumni relations committee, corporate communication, which is the media and PR team of the college, and then you have various event clubs. So all the colleges have 2 or 3 general events in the around year. So one of them is a cultural event, another is a management conclave kind of event, and 1 or 2 other events. So all these are the proper event clubs like we attend in various graduation colleges also. So they might be we all are all aware of the cultural functions. So there would be 1 or 2 this is basically a total event management kind of committee, and apart from it you also learn sponsorship and all those things. So then there is a sports committee managing all the sports activities. There is a cultural committee celebrating all the festivals and bringing life in a B school. And apart from those, there is a social wing like a charity wing or social activities wing. Then there is a hostel or infrastructure committee. And then apart from it, there are various student interest groups, be it photography club, be it quizzing club, be it art club, all those. So apart from the regular work those committees do, generally all these committees have one annual event. So what happens is that apart from this the regular activities of the club, you are busy throughout the year, and not just these committees bring some kind of experience or team bonding to you, but apart from those shape your career and I would rather say build your personality also. So being as a manager, what are you going to do? Discuss on various things, be in various decision making part of problems, and apart from it, managing various things or getting things done either by yourself or from others. So these committees help you do those things and get a first-hand experience of all such things. So, and apart from it, they also build add as a CV point to your curriculum vitae or a resume. So these things are for example, if you are properly involved in any of those committees or clubs, you can talk about it in your interview or kind of interaction when you are going for placements. So this is very much helpful. And this also helps like to keep yourself engaged and get better visibility in the college. Like in college, for example, if there are 400, 500 students, only 100 to 200, 250 of them are in clubs and committees. So what helps is that you get a better visibility, all of the people know you. And also, like, if you want to get anything done inside the college, like if you want to leverage your network, then this is a better place for you. Thank you.
आशीष, टाइम मिल जाता है ये सब करने का?
टाइम ऐसा है कि मतलब जो MBA कहते हैं कि बहुत ही ज्यादा ऐसे टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट रहता है, तो अगर आप सिर्फ पढ़ाई करने जा रहे हो तो बहुत ही टाइम होता है, क्योंकि सिर्फ शाम तक ही क्लासेस होती है मैक्सिमम हर कॉलेज में. उसके बाद जो है तो शाम को आप थोड़ी ब्रेक ले लो, फिर उसके बाद आपका दिन एक्चुअली शुरू होगा. तो सुबह क्लासेस आपको जबरदस्ती जाना पड़ता है. उसके बाद आपको शाम को किस क्लब या कमेटी के जिसके आप पार्ट हो या जहाँ पे आप इन्वॉल्व रहना चाहते हो, तो वहां आप जाओगे. दैट मेक्स योर लाइफ मोर हैपनिंग और लविंग एट अ बी स्कूल.
Right. Great.
Okay, thank you, Ashish. So our next speaker is Jimit Jashani. Actually, I want to introduce Jimit with a quote. Never too late. Why? Because I know Jimit, he started his preparation in the month of June. Am I right, Jimit?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So those from our audience who are thinking it's too late, अभी नहीं हो पाएगा, जून आ गया है, अब कैसे प्रिपरेशन करें, नवंबर में एग्जाम है, चलो CAT 21 में देते हैं. तो Jimit is a perfect example for them. He secured 225 marks in NMET and 98.35 percentile in CAT, and he is pursuing MBA from NMIMS Mumbai. So the topic which I have for Jimit is competitions in B schools. So Jimit, yes, please.
Thank you, ma'am, for wonderful introduction, and thank you all for joining the session. And I will be talking about competitions in B schools. So, as Ashish told everyone about all the clubs and committees, those are the extracurricular activities where you have fun and where you learn something. But there is one more aspect of corporate competitions that B schools have, which increases your learning and gives you corporate exposure also. So first I'll introduce how this competition thing goes. So as in various corporates, various companies of FMCG sector, BFSI, you can take any sector. Normally for a corporate engagement event, they open a competition across various B schools on online platforms with which they want to engage. And for that competition, the problem statement that students have to solve are basically based on case study based or live business problem that company is facing. So what happens is that they give a problem statement, and students will have to participate in teams of 3 or 4 or individually to to solve that particular problem or to discuss that case study and submit your solution. Maybe we can say they normally give the time of 20 to 25 days to go and have a study about it, go and study about it in market, go to the field, talk with the people, have some research, and after that come up with a solution for that particular problem. And when you after the round one, you have to submit a small slide or small word document where you will be explaining the solution. So after the round one, all the companies go through the solutions of all the students. And normally what they do is that they announce a particular winner in every colleges. So they'll be announcing one winner from IIM Ahmedabad, they'll be announcing one winner from MDI, they'll be announcing one winner from NMMS. And so all the campus winners will now go head to head in national round. So what happens is that they have to again present now in the first round. What happens is that students only submit the solutions, they are not presenting. So now what in national round, students will have to present their solutions, and there will be question and answer sessions from the judges also. They'll have to answer all the queries from the judges, and judges will be judging them based on that. And while these students go to national round and give presentation, they have a huge exposure of corporate personalities, because whenever there is a national round of a particular company's competition, there are a lot of big people, big personalities, CEOs of different companies come over there. They judge the competition, as well as they come over there as a guest. So over there, what happens is that you get to talk with those kind of people, and you get more exposure, and you are more motivated to perform well in your B school. So usually competitions is one of the most innovative ways to have a learning in B school, because what happens is that those competitions contain live business problems and case study based approach. So if you have a good team, so the most important thing while participating in competition is to have a good team, very good team. So what happens is that I have seen a lot of students are very talented but are not able to get over the line, just because they have the team consisting of similar kind of people. If a team is of 3 or 4 people, and all the people are from diverse backgrounds and want to specialize in different domains, like one is from finance, one is from marketing, so their interest levels are different. So they'll be having different kinds of ideas, and they can merge those ideas, have a brainstorming session, and they can implement the solution what they think is right. So this is how it goes. And what happens is that if you are able to win at national round, companies do give you PPOs, that is pre-placement offer or pre-placement interviews, so that you'll not have to sit in the placements also. You'll be getting job offer over there and then only. So that is one more advantage. And if you have reached to the national round, and if you are winner of a particular campus, you also have cash prizes over there. So there are a lot of huge cash prizes for various companies also. So this is an advantage with the learning you have. Plus, when you go to the field, do the field work, do the research about the company, you have a great bonding with your team, and you can make a lifetime friends also over there. So this is how the competitions go in this school.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Jimit. सो गाइस, आप लोगों ने देखा कि हमारे पास में कोमल के पास 3.5 इयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस था. शी मैनेज द स्टडी विद हर जॉब. अबिन ने कुछ स्टूडेंट ऐसा बोलते हैं कि नहीं हम प्लेसमेंट्स नहीं लेंगे, प्लेसमेंट या तो फिर मैं प्लेसमेंट्स ले लेता हूँ, या फिर मैं कैट की प्रिपरेशन नहीं हो पाएगा, या फिर एकेट्स मैनेज नहीं हो पा रहे हैं. तो ये सब इंस्पिरेशन. एंड स्पेशली करणप्रीत स्टूडेंट्स के माइंड में होता है, जैसे मैंने पहले ही बोला था कि मैं तो नॉन मैथ्स बैकग्राउंड से हूँ, चलो ठीक है वर्बल वाला पार्ट अच्छे से कर लेंगे या फिर DILR कर लेंगे, क्वांट को थोड़ा हल्के में रहने देते हैं. लेकिन करणप्रीत ने तीनों सेक्शन इतने अच्छे से बैलेंस किए. रोशन ने इतने सारे कॉम्पिटिशन्स में पार्टिसिपेट किया. ठीक है, उसके बाद उनका कैंपस प्लेसमेंट था. आई थिंक रोशन स्प्रिंकलर, आई थिंक.
यस मैम.
हाँ ठीक है, तो उनका अच्छा कैंपस प्लेसमेंट हुआ. उन्होंने जॉब भी ज्वाइन किया था और जॉब के साथ साथ उन्होंने अपने इंटरव्यूज भी क्रैक किए. ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद अगर मैं आशीष के लिए बोलूं तो आशीष ने बीकॉम स्टूडेंट होने के साथ साथ फ्रेशर था, वो फ्रेशर के साथ साथ उसने अपना तीनों ही सेक्शन, बहुत क्वांट भी, आपका वर्बल भी और आपका DILR, तीनों सेक्शन मैनेज किए. जिमित ने तो जून के एंड में प्रिपरेशन चालू किया. और जून के एंड में प्रिपरेशन मीन्स जहाँ पे लोग रिवीजन के मूड में आ जाते हैं कि चलो ठीक है अब आपका सिलेबस कंप्लीट हो गया है, अब रिवीजन का मूड हो गया है, उस टाइम पे जिमित ने अपना प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट किया था. तो ये सब हमारे लिए एक ऐसा इंस्पिरेशन है कि कभी भी एक तो आप लेट नहीं हो, और ऐसा नहीं होता लाइफ में कि एक चीज आप छोड़ के दूसरी चीज बैलेंस. सी, आप मैनेजर की पोस्ट पे जा रहे हो, आप MBA करने के लिए जा रहे हो, उसके बाद आप मैनेजर की पोस्ट पे जाओगे किसी कंपनी में, तो यू हैव टू मैनेज. ठीक है, तो वो मैनेजमेंट हमें यहीं से सीखना है कि आपको स्टडी कैसे मैनेज करनी है, जॉब कैसे मैनेज करनी है, या फिर आपको, क्योंकि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स मैंने ऐसे देखे हैं कि क्लब छोड़ देते हैं, ये सब नहीं करना, एक्स्ट्रा एक्टिविटीज में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करना है. तो गाइस मींस आप सब चीजों को एक साथ बैलेंस करके चल सकते हो. ये कैट की स्टडी है, आप कोई ऐसा एग्जाम नहीं देने जा रहे हो जिसके लिए आपको 2 साल का टाइम पीरियड और 18 to 19 आवर्स का स्टडी करना है. राइट, ये एक बहुत कंसेप्चुअल एग्जाम होता है, बहुत लॉजिकल है. ठीक है, तो अगर आप रिलीजियसली कॉन्स्टेंटली अगर आप प्रिपरेशन करते हो 5 to 6 to 7 आवर्स भी, अगर लेकिन डेली, ऐसा नहीं कि आपने एक दिन 10 आवर्स स्टडी किया और अगले दिन कुछ नहीं. तो आपको एक वे में वो चीज मैनेज करनी होगी. ठीक है, तो अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन मेरे ऑडियंस के माइंड में ये है कि मैम इन्होंने कैसे प्रिपेयर किया, हाउ डिड दे प्रिपेयर, हाउ डिड दे स्कोर सो वंडरफुल इन वेरियस एग्जाम, एनमेट हो या फिर आपका IFT हो, स्नैप हो. ऐसा नहीं है कि इन लोगों ने बाकी एग्जाम्स नहीं दिए थे. ठीक है, वो तो फाइनल चॉइस है मेरी IIM अहमदाबाद जाने की या XLRI जाने की. उन्होंने स्नैप भी दिया, IFT भी दिया है, और उसके बाद आपका ZET भी दिया है. ठीक है, तो मेन क्वेश्चंस ऑडियंस का ये है कि इन्होंने कैसे प्रिपेयर किया, क्या थोड़ा गाइडेंस वगैरह मिल सकता है क्या. सो आई होप इतना पार्ट आप लोगों ने काफी एंजॉय कर लिया है. तो मैं यहाँ पे आप लोगों से थोड़ा रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी, from our invited achievers to share their experience, how did they prepare, how did they secure such wonderful score. So we will start from BARC section with Karanpreet and Komal, and then DILR section with Jimit and Ashish, and QA section with Abin and Roshan. So please KP and Komal, please with BARC section, आपने कैसे प्रिपेयर किया, कैसे करना चाहिए, कैसे मैनेज करना है चीजों को साथ में. ठीक है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का ये डाउट होता है कि हम लोगों का वर्बल में मतलब हमारी कम्युनिकेशन अच्छा है, हमारा ग्रामर पार्ट अच्छा है, लेकिन फिर भी हमारे BRC में स्कोर नहीं आ रहा है. ये मतलब सबसे ज्यादा ये प्रॉब्लम रहता है स्टूडेंट्स के साथ में. RC में मीन्स जब वो अटेम्प्ट करने गए तो उन्होंने 28 अटेम्प्ट किया लेकिन सारे रॉन्ग में गए, या फिर मोर देन 50% उनका रॉन्ग हो गया. तो यस प्लीज करणप्रीत एंड कोमल. Karanpreet?
Yeah, ma'am. Am I audible now?
Yes, perfect.
So, firstly, the first very important thing for you all to realize is कि कहाँ पे आपकी strengths हैं. So now this is the area जो आपको help करेगा not only to cover good marks in that section but also to compensate for the okay marks that you will be getting in other sections because they are not your strong points. तो मेरे लिए वो सेक्शन BARC था, मुझे पता था कि क्वांट में मेरे लिए थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होगा टू स्कोर वेरी मच, यू नो, बहुत ज़्यादा. सो आई मेड श्योर कि जो मेरी वीकनेसेस हैं दोज वर एवरेज्ड आउट, और जो मेरी स्ट्रेंथ है वो मेरे वीकनेसेस को कवर कर सकती है. For me, that section was VARC. So I'll just share a few pointers of how I used to prepare for it. So there are two sections of people attempting this. एक होते हैं जो ardent readers होते हैं जिन्हें reading बहुत पसंद है, और एक होते हैं जो इतना ज़्यादा read नहीं करते. So for the people who are not so well versed in reading long passages or difficult passages, first advice would be to start reading books and get comfortable with reading. Because I remember in my first year at IIM, we were reading around 100 to 150 pages in a day just to prepare for our classes. So reading आपको बहुत जल्दी पीछा नहीं छोड़ेगा. It's going to be there with your life and it's going to be very useful. So I'd suggest कि आप you start with easy books जो genres आपको पसंद है, जो चीजें पढ़ने में आपको ज़्यादा मजा आती है, उनसे start करें आप, and get comfortable with reading. Increase your reading speed. Once you are comfortable with reading, then I suggest कि आप short passages पढ़ना शुरू करें of different genres. So now how I used to do it is कि जब भी आप कोई mock देते हैं तो उसमें एक passage होता है. Now after you have given your mocks, आप वो passage को Google पे search करके पूरा version पढ़िए, because what happens is mock में it's the concise version of that passage. So I suggest कि you go Google it up and read the entire paragraph because it gives you context. आपको वो चीजें समझ में आने लगती हैं. And this has to happen for different genres. कोई एक genre को पकड़ के नहीं बैठना है. So that is first. The second is कि जब आप Google करते हैं तो आपको different websites दिखती है जहाँ से ये articles उठाए हुए हैं. तो आपको websites को follow करके वहाँ से और articles पढ़ते जाने हैं. Very important is to read the editorials because CAT में जैसे passages आते हैं आपको वैसे ही passages read करने की आदत होनी चाहिए. This also gives you an exposure to different genres. जो genre आपने शायद पहले कभी ना पढ़े हो, जैसे philosophy है, psychology है, ऐसे genres के साथ आप familiar हो जाते हैं. तो भले ही CAT में वो same passage ना आए, but उसके related आए तो you can handle it because you have been reading that kind of a material. So that was first. The second is कि once you're comfortable with different genres, also try and make your own arguments about the passage. तो जब भी हम VARC section को attempt करते हैं तो one of the key things is कि आप options को negate करते हैं, which is by the elimination method, right? So when you are eliminating the options, you have to talk to yourself and think about the arguments why the option is wrong. सिर्फ लग रहा है या फिर विदाउट गिविंग योरसेल्फ अ कॉन्क्रीट रीजन अगर आप उसको एलिमिनेट कर रहे हैं तो शायद वो पैसेज में आप निकल जाएंगे, लेकिन आगे के पैसेजेस विल बी डिफिकल्ट. सो मेक श्योर दैट यू कंप्लीटली अंडरस्टैंड द पैसेज और आप खुद के आर्ग्यूमेंट्स भी बिल्ड करें, whether you are reading an editorial या ऐसा कुछ भी. This will also help you in building your structure for your AWT or VAT which will come after the CAT. So this was my preparation strategy for VARC. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Kamal, I dare? I think
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Kamal, please.
Hi everyone. So I'll be talking about the VARC preparation. How did I do that? So basically, yeah, being an engineer, VARC was not that was a weakness for me. Like I did not score well in VARC previously, but I realized later on that I need to focus on this area a lot. So what I did was the success mantra जो था उसका, that was read. Whatever you get in front of you, just read about it. Since I was there in the office, so I used to even read the mailers itself, like who read the mailers, but I used to do that also, just because to have the sense of reading and understanding things. So this is the one thing, and the second thing is try to find out as to what is your strong area in VARC itself. Like, is it parajumbles, is it the passages or grammar or something else? So mine was the passages. I found it. So I gave all of my efforts to the passages, understanding those passages, and attempting practicing 4-5 passages a day before CAT, like for 2-3 months. So that was the thing which I continued till CAT, and I because of that I got benefited. I seriously felt on the day of exam itself that the practice which I'm doing, which I'm continuing from past 2-3 months, is now giving me the fruit. So that is the second thing. And apart the third thing is that you read the editorial page of the Hindu or any other good newspaper. So that gives you the real-time data, the dynamic data, the real-time conversations. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I
yes, Komal, you are
okay,
audible.
fine. So the like what CAT used to do is like I also realized in my attempt that they gave us the passages based on some some that kind of content which provoke the logical thinking in you, right? So you also target that sort of content which enables you to think logically, which persuade you, which make you to take the decisions, right? Because what happens now after joining the college, you get the case studies at Karanpreet rightly said. In our exams itself, in the IMs, we get the case studies in the exam for about 5-10 pager case studies, which we have to read in half an hour, understand and answer the questions itself. So this is like the current passages reading and the current VR section which you are currently preparing is preparing for that, preparing for the case studies and later on later studies in the IM or in any other college. So for that you have to be well versed with the content reading and understanding and coming out to some logical decision making, right? So your target content should be around that also. And yeah, start reading good novels like the Fountainhead, and many other good novels are there which your teachers and people might have suggested you. That helps a lot, because I remember I used to do 4-5 things. I used to read the Hindu editorials, novels, practicing passages, and reading the logical and the thought provoking content over net, on blogs, over Quora. So these were the things which helped me a lot. And yeah, these things can help you also if you follow. This is all from my end. Thank you.
Okay, so next section is DILR section, and Jimmy and Ashish, please guide the students.
Hello. So as we are always concerned that DILR section is very tough, or that is the most difficult section, or we need to think twice before and be totally prepared if we want to attempt the DILR section. Let us be clear that it is no different than any other section. It is equally important and equally difficult, and it just plays with your mind in a more better way. So for starting a preparation in DI and LR, what you can do is you have to start your day with mental calculation, fractions, tables and percentages. So, or whenever you are starting the DILR section preparation, this helps you to tap your mind, tap all the nerves of your mind and work your mind in that direction. So for example, if you are not totally ready to read a long set of DI or LR, these mental calculations, tables, fractions, these make you ready to do all the calculations that are involved in any set or in solving any puzzle. So apart from this, you can do a daily 10-minute or 15 minutes Sudoku or quiz kind of thing. So these all things help you to energize and bring your mind into that direction where you want to get focus in DI and LR. Apart from this, as an initial phase, you can start with easier sets, simpler DI, like a short set and a 3-4 questions. Simple level or difficulty level should be easy, and gradually you can then focus on towards the harder ones. Whatever you solve, be it LR, be it DI, be it 5 fractions also, you need to do that with a time limit. Okay, so for example, if you're solving even one set of DI or LR, take a 8 minutes, 10 minutes timer. Whatever you do, you need to do it with a timer. Okay, that's the main key, like to increase your speed or to increase your calculation level. Apart from this, start developing your own approach. Like for example, if a question is pie chart, okay, so I might have some approach for it and some other person would have some another approach for it. Like you need to find which kind of approach is beneficial and comfortable for you, and you need to start building your approaches. For this, like you should give as many marks, यानी कि आप लोग जितनी ज्यादा मार्क्स दोगे, जितने सिमिलर टाइप के सेट, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल पाई चार्ट है, तो जितने आप पाई चार्ट के अलग अलग डिफिकल्टी लेवल के अलग अलग सेट सॉल्व करेंगे, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि आपको कौन सा अप्रोच सूटेबल है और किस में आपके कैलकुलेशन और आंसर ज्यादा एक्यूरेट आ रहे हैं. उसके अलावा अगर आप कोई भी सेट करना शुरू कर रहे हो, तो पहले क्वेश्चंस की ब्रांचेस देख लो कि किस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस है, क्वेश्चन में पूछा क्या है. कई बार ऐसे होता है एलआर में भी डीआई में भी कि आपको पूरा सेट सॉल्व करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है। कुछ कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो डेटा क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ होता है, बस उसी को पूछा होता है कि वो डेटा क्या है, तो वो क्वेश्चन आप बिना सेट सॉल्व किए भी कर सकते हो, जो आपको लास्ट मिनट ऐसे सॉल्विंग में काम आ सकते हैं। उसके अलावा अगर आप जैसे अब डीआई है, तो डीआई का बहुत बड़ा सेट है, 4-5 टेबल है, तो आप कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे कि कहाँ से शुरू करें। तो क्वेश्चंस पढ़ लो तो आपको आइडिया आ जाता है कि आपको सेट में से निकालना क्या है, क्या सोल्यूशन चाहिए, इस तरीके से। नाउ Jimit will continue.
So Ashish talked about the initial phase. So if we now move to secondary phase, that is मतलब आपने पहले easy set से start किया and you have developed your own approach. So after that, what you should do is that you should now shift towards the more complex problems. And CAT में जो complex problems आते हैं, most of the time CAT में DI individually या फिर LR individually ऐसा नहीं पूछा जाता. Most of the time, all the questions are of hybrid type. And some of them are of game points table also, where you have to predict that which team is on the first position, which team has how many points and everything. और दूसरा एक होता है arrangements. So these are all the complex problems that are more frequently asked in CAT in different types. So मतलब इस टाइप के जितने भी प्रॉब्लम है आप सॉल्व करोगे. Obviously जब आप ये पहली बार सॉल्व करोगे it will be very difficult, but never lose hope. If you are not able to get the answer in 30 minutes, ask some faculty, ask your friend who is good at DILR, or ask anyone who will be able to help you and understand the approach. Well, once you've understood the approach of solving a particular type of problem, दूसरा उस टाइप का ही कोई प्रॉब्लम आता है लेकिन वो ज्यादा भी कॉम्प्लेक्स होगा, तो एटलीस्ट यू नो हाउ टू गो अबाउट इट. तो मतलब वैसे होता है कि व्हेन यू गो फॉर अ कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम्स, कभी इतना कोई सेट ऐसा आ सकता है. मेरे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ है कि मैं उस सेट में मैंने 45 to 50 मिनट्स डाला है और मेरे को आउटकम नहीं मिला है. आई वाज नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व दैट पर्टिकुलर सेट. सो तो उसके बाद जिसको आता है, अपने फैकल्टी है या फिर कहीं से भी डाउट, जाइए उनके पास और सॉल्व कीजिए एंड अंडरस्टैंड कि अप्रोच कैसा है. एंड आफ्टर दैट अगर उस टाइप का क्वेश्चन अगर अगली बार आएगा तो यू विल बी एबल टू डू दैट. मतलब अब आपने जब कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम्स स्टार्ट कर दिए हैं एंड आपने अराउंड इफ यू से 200 to 250 सेट्स कॉम्प्लेक्स टाइप के अगर सॉल्व कर लिए हैं, तो नाउ यू शुड अगेन मूव टूवर्ड्स टाइम लिमिट. सो व्हाट यू शुड डू इज दैट नॉर्मली सेक्शनल मॉक्स होती है, जो मॉक्स देते हैं सारे इंस्टीट्यूट वाले, उसमें तो 30 मिनट्स का होता है या फिर 1 आवर का होता है. नाउ व्हाट यू शुड डू इज 30 मिनट्स में 4 सेट, 60 मिनट्स में 8 सेट, उस टाइप का टाइम लिमिट में प्रैक्टिस स्टार्ट करना पड़ेगा. बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस इज द इन कैट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज द चूजिंग द सेट. मतलब आपके पास 8-10 सेट हो गए, अगर पहला सेट ही ऐसा है कि जो किसी से सॉल्व नहीं होगा एंड आप बाकी के क्वेश्चंस देखते नहीं हो और वो सेट पे ही चालू हो जाते हो एंड यू विल वेस्ट योर 20 मिनट्स ऑफ टाइम आउट ऑफ 60 एंड बाकी सारे सेट के लिए आपके पास टाइम भी कम रह जाएगा और बाकी सारे स्टूडेंट्स ने काफी सेट्स उस टाइम पे सॉल्व भी कर लिए होंगे. तो अगर आप टाइम लिमिट में सॉल्व करना स्टार्ट करेंगे तो आपको पहले वो देखना होगा कि फर्स्ट अप्रोच इज टू गो थ्रू एवरी सेट. ऊपर से जाना है, कोई भी सेट में 1 मिनट से ज्यादा वेस्ट नहीं करना है टाइम. ऊपर से देखो कि किस टाइप का सेट है. मतलब आपने कोई टाइप के सेट की ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस की हो और जिसका अप्रोच आपको ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल हो और आपको लगता है कि आप ये 5-6 मिनट में सॉल्व कर सकते हो, वो सेट को पहले टच करो एंड उसमें भी क्वेश्चंस पढ़ो पहले, तो आपको पता हो कि आपको आउटपुट क्या लाना है, मतलब आपको आंसर क्या लाना है. सीधा सेट पढ़ के पूरा सॉल्व करने नहीं जाना है. एंड वंस यू गेट आइडिया ऑफ कि भाई आपको कैसे सारे सेट्स को एक साथ गो थ्रू करना है, सिलेक्ट करना है कौन सा सेट पहले करना है, तो यू विल बी एबल टू परफॉर्म वेल. और उसके बाद भी काफी सेट्स ऐसे होते हैं कि जिसमें 2 क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होते हैं कि आप सॉल्व कर पाओगे और 2 क्वेश्चंस ना भी कर पाए, इतने डिफिकल्ट होते हैं. तो या फिर वो बहुत ज्यादा टाइम कंज्यूमिंग होते हैं. आप सॉल्व तो कर पाएंगे लेकिन आपका 10 मिनट का टाइम ले लेगा टेस्ट में. अगर आप 2 क्वेश्चन के लिए 10 मिनट बिगाड़ते हो तो कैट इज मतलब पूरा टाइम बेस्ड एग्जाम है. जितना आप टाइम कम वेस्ट करोगे उतना आपके लिए अच्छा होगा. तो काफी सेट्स में ऐसा होता है कि 2 क्वेश्चंस आप इजीली आंसर कर सकते हो, 2 नहीं कर सकते हो. तो यू शुड बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट कि भाई ये 2 मेरा हो गया है, बाकी 2 के लिए अगर ज्यादा टाइम जा रहा है तो आई शुड स्किप इट एंड गो टू द नेक्स्ट सेट. अगर लास्ट में टाइम रहा तो मैं वापस उस सेट पे आ जाऊंगा. So this is the way, this is the approach that I had for solving my DILR sets, and this approach was built after 3 to 4 months of rigorous practice with time. So in time limit, I always used to practice with time limit, and me and Ashish always practice together, and we always set the timer and we used to do it together only. So that's the approach we had for us.
ओके, थैंक यू. आई होप आप लोगों को थोड़ा DILR का, अच्छा यहाँ पे एक जिमित ने बहुत अच्छी चीज बोली है कि आशीष एंड जिमित दोनों साथ में सॉल्व करते थे, या फिर इनका और कोई तीसरा या चौथा फ्रेंड. ठीक है, तो आप लोगों को भी देखो DILR में, अगर मैं सीरियसली अपने एक टीचर के उससे बात करूं, अगर आप टीचर से कोई सेट पूछते हो तो डेफिनेटली बच्चा टीचर से सॉल्व हो ही जाएगा, क्योंकि या तो उसने सॉल्व किया हुआ है, या फिर उसको एक्सपीरियंस है, या फिर वो टीचर है बेसिकली. तो आप टीचर के पास उस टाइम जाओगे जब आपका फ्रेंड सर्कल, आप जो साथ में प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं, कि उनसे नहीं हुआ कि यार अब हिम्मत हार गए, अब एक बार पूछते हैं, टीचर से पूछते हैं, मैम से या सर से कि अब क्या करना है. क्योंकि अगर आपने सेट देखा स्टार्टिंग में, समझ नहीं आया, चलो यार पूछ लेते हैं, तो टीचर को मालूम है, वो आपको बोल देगा कि ऐसे 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 करना है, लेकिन आपने क्या सोचा, आपने अपने एंड से क्या किया. तो DILR वाला जो DI, चलो ठीक है, स्टार्टिंग में आपकी क्लासेस होती हैं, जो भी आप मतलब अटेंड करते हो तो आपको मालूम हो जाता है कि अप्रोच कैसे करना है, लेकिन LR का प्रैक्टिस आपको करना पड़ेगा खुद से. एक बार मतलब अपना इनपुट इतना, जब एक सिचुएशन ऐसी आ जाए कि अब नहीं होगा खुद से, अब मेरे फ्रेंड से नहीं हो रहा है, मुझसे नहीं हो रहा है, चलो टीचर के पास पहुंचते हैं. ठीक है, तो आपको LR के लिए प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस, जैसे कोमल और KP ने बोला ना कि रीड रीड रीड, सेम चीज यहाँ पे प्रैक्टिस 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 LR के लिए. ठीक है, चलिए तो हमारा नेक्स्ट सेक्शन हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं रोशन एंड अबिन के साथ में. यस रोशन प्लीज.
Sure. So हम लोग, I and Abhin will cover quant and like how we approached it. So हाँ, थोड़ा सा starting में थोड़ा सा फंडा दूंगा, then I'll go on few things, and Abhin will cover the later part. So yeah, the thing that comes here is speed and accuracy. मतलब these are the things जो आपने काफी सुनी होगी अपने quant या दूसरे faculty से भी. So what you have to do is कि पहले you go for accuracy. And for accuracy you have to understand the concept or the logic for that then only you will get the accuracy. And जब accuracy अच्छी आने लगे then you go for speed. Here as you already know the concept, आपका next step रहता है कि shortcuts and tricks learn करें जो modules book या teachers के पास मिल जाएंगे. एंड अगर आप डायरेक्ट स्पीड स्किप करके एक्यूरेसी पे जाएंगे तो आपको ज्यादा कंफ्यूजन होगा एंड यू विल मेक मोर मिस्टेक्स. सो लाइक दिस इज अ गुड हायरार्की जिसमें आपको प्रोसीड करना चाहिए. नाउ गोइंग फॉर फाइनल थिंग्स के व्हाट यू कैन डू टू इम्प्रूव योर टोटल स्कोर. द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट कम्स टू माय माइंड एंड which needs to practice is mental math. So mental math is something जो आप, although there is CAT calculator allow करता है, but सारे एग्जाम्स नहीं करते हैं. इवन इफ दे डू समटाइम्स आप जो मेंटल मैथ से करते हो दैट इज मच फास्टर देन ओपनिंग कैलकुलेटर एंड डूइंग सम एंड गेटिंग इट बैक. सो ऑब्वियसली यू नीड टू नो द परसेंटेजेस अप टू 20-25, मतलब 1/, जो भी होता है ratios into percentage, फिर 3x3, 4x 2x2 multiplication जो फास्ट मेथड होता है. Same goes with division. ये if you master it will improve your speed a lot. मतलब if you try it, and for that you have to like for practical purpose you have to try 10 or 15 sums on a daily basis to get a feel of it. Next I'll talk about how to go about attempting the paper, and we were taught about this. Okay, you have to do 3 rounds of selection. 3 rounds of selection means like once you are given the paper, you first round is के you attempt the questions you are 100% sure of. मतलब आपने देखा and आपको देख के लगा ये तो मैंने किया हुआ है, अभी कर सकता हूँ. You go for that and like try to go over all the questions and first पहले ये वाले questions खत्म करते हैं. Then is the second round. These are the questions जो आपने कभी देखे हुए हैं, but आपको या तो पूरा प्रोसेस याद नहीं है, मतलब you know till a certain point, या you know for sure कि थोड़ा लंबा जा सकता है या तो difficult है, right? So then you go for this type of questions and attempt them. Thirdly, जो mostly आपको time नहीं मिलेगा, but sometimes you make it, and you try to attempt whatever is left. शायद आपको कुछ चमक गया तो probably you will get a few marks in that. One thing I like to tell is कि जब भी आप quant attempt करो, don't let any question be unseen. मतलब you have to see every question, because आपको बाद में regret होगा कि ये इतना easy question था but towards the end था और मैंने attempt नहीं किया. So each question is equally important. ये आपको समझना होगा कितना भी कोई 5 मिनट भी लगते कोई समय और कोई 1 ही मिनट में लगते हैं, तो they have equal marks. So you have to attempt considering that in mind. Also, one very important tip that I learned and we were taught also, that don't let ego come in between. And this is especially true for engineers. जब भी कोई कॉन्ट का सवाल देखते, they are like कि मुझे तो ये करना ही है and I will like मैं इसको छोड़ खत्म करके ही मानूंगा. But you on a larger picture, probably you will solve it, but on a larger picture you are losing a lot. So don't let your ego come in between. You have to decide a time के आप इतने टाइम में खत्म कर लोगे, and अगर नहीं होता है तो you have to move on from that question. That's it. I think Abhin will cover the later part.
Sure. Thanks, Roshan. So जैसे Roshan mentioned out that one of the most important thing for engineers is that don't let your ego hamper your practice or when you are actually attempting mocks or CAT, because this happens with a lot of people. And I'm just repeating what he just said because we cannot stress enough on this part. And we have seen a lot of engineers not being able to crack the quant section and rather doing better in the VARC just because of this issue. Coming to the next most important thing is the necessity of a formula book. So whatever chapter that you do, start maintaining a formula book for the same. Like just write down all the important formulas, or if there is a typical sum. Jaise I remember so not exactly for quant, but even for DILR, the games का जो sum होता है, उसमें एक typical method होती है solve करने की. So if you have that written down somewhere, you can just refer to it whenever you want to. So same goes for quant and all the chapters. This is geometry हो गया, so there is this sum in which I still remember the answer was root r by 3 or something of that sort. And it's a typical sum. You just have to look at the figure and there is no specific method. You just remember the answer. So ये सारी चीजें जो होती है, probably you can just write them down in a particular book that you can refer to whenever you want. Now, as Roshan was talking about accuracy and speed, so I will talk about how you need to analyze your quant questions using two ratios. One is the attempts ratio and the other is accuracy ratio. So this can be used for other topics, other sections as well. But mainly it is very easy to use for quant and it is very easy to explain it using quant. So I'm using it over here. So attempt percentage is nothing but the total questions attempted upon the total number of questions, and accuracy percentage is nothing but total questions correct upon the total number of attempted questions. इतना फंडा काफी मतलब simple है to understand. Now this can be used in two ways when you are solving material, जैसे course material हो गया, या फिर you are doing it in your mocks, right? So there is this thing called SWOT analysis: strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Now, using these two percentages, you need to probably you might want to write this down. So if you have a pen and paper lying around, you can use that. So SWOT analysis में strengths are those in which your attempts are greater than 90% and your accuracy is greater than 80%. Now these are the numbers that we as in Roshan and I have come up through experiments. These are not set in stone, but obviously these are the numbers that you can target for. So strengths are those topics in which you have attempts greater than 90% and accuracy greater than 80%. Weaknesses are the ones in which attempts are less than 50%. Opportunities are the ones in which the attempts are between 50 and 70% and your accuracy is greater than 70%. Threats are the topics in which your attempts are greater than 70% and your accuracy is less than 50%. एक बार बस मैं repeat कर दूंगा. Strengths में attempts should be greater than 90, accuracy greater than 80. Weakness में attempts should be less than 50. Opportunities मतलब attempts will be between 50 and 70 and accuracy will be greater than 70. And threats are basically the topics in which attempts are greater than 70 and accuracy is less than 50. In case किसी ने miss out किया तो I will ask Rakhi ma'am to share the notes later on. बट दिस इज द बेसिक फंडामेंटल. अब इसमें देखना क्या है कि व्हेन यू आर सॉल्विंग एनी मटेरियल, तो एक 2 कॉलम बना दो इन द इंडेक्स, ऑन द इंडेक्स पेज. उसमें लिखो कि अगर 25 क्वेश्चन है, टोटल नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस वो टॉपिक के 25 है मटेरियल में, तो तुम लोग ने फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट, मतलब जब लेके बैठे तब कितने अटेम्प्ट कर पाए. जैसे 25 में से यू अटेम्प्टेड 20, एंड फिर उस 20 में से तुम लोग ने कितने एक्चुअली करेक्ट किए. तो लेट्स से 18. तो यहाँ पे तुम्हारा हो गया अटेम्प्ट्स 80% एंड एक्यूरेसी 90%. ठीक है. तो समथिंग ऑफ दिस सॉर्ट, ये सारे कैलकुलेशंस करेंगे तो हमें तो एक स्वॉट एनालिसिस की शीट निकलेगी. एंड दिस स्वॉट विल हेल्प यू अंडरस्टैंड कौन से तुम्हारे टॉपिक्स स्ट्रेंथ्स में आते हैं, कौन से वीकनेसेस आते हैं, कौन से थ्रेट्स में आते हैं, और कौन से अपॉर्चुनिटी में जाते हैं. दिस विल हेल्प यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू नीड टू फोकस ऑन. जैसे स्ट्रेंथ्स आर समथिंग जो तुम्हें लेके चलना है आगे, बट इतना अगर रिपीटेटिव प्रैक्टिस नहीं करोगे तो चलेगा. Weaknesses are the ones where you have where you need to focus on the let's say the course, मतलब fundamentals पे focus करना पड़ेगा and not exactly solving. Opportunities are the topics in which तुम्हारी silly mistakes कम होती है, but तुम्हारे attempts बहुत कम है. मतलब yeah, attempts are also less. This will probably this can actually mean that तुम्हें थोड़े fundamentals revise करने हैं, and you can increase your attempts as well, और accuracy already अच्छी है. And threats are the ones जिसमें silly mistakes बहुत होती है, because quant is one subject जहाँ पे silly mistakes करने के full chances है तुम्हारे पास. तो threats are the ones जिसमें तुम बहुत confidence के साथ attempt कर देते हो, but silly mistakes के कारण तुम्हारी accuracy बहुत कम हो जाती है. तो इस सब्जेक्ट में तुम्हें फोकस करना है कि how to increase the accuracy. So these are the main important things that I wanted to tell you about how to manage quant. बाकी का तो रोशन ने कवर कर ही लिया है, तो या थैंक्स.
ओके, तो आई होप आप लोगों को क्लियर हुआ है कि आप लोग को DILR एंड क्वांट में जैसे अभिन ने फंडा बुक या फॉर्मूला बुक के लिए बात की, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और आपकी जो थ्रेड्स या फिर आपके स्ट्रॉन्ग टॉपिक क्या है, वो बच्चे आप लोगों को तब मालूम होंगे. बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि आप लोग क्वेश्चंस, मतलब मैंने, ठीक है, मुझे रेशियो बहुत अच्छे से आता है या फिर TSD बहुत अच्छे से आता है और मैंने सॉल्व किया और मुझे कॉन्फिडेंस है, लेकिन जैसे ही मैं एग्जाम में या फिर मैंने मॉक दिया तब मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि इस टाइप का तो क्वेश्चन मुझसे हुआ ही नहीं है. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए जो अभी ने फॉर्मूला बुक के लिए बात की, मैं उसमें बस एक चीज ऐड कर देती हूँ. आप लोगों को मॉक देने हैं, ठीक है, क्योंकि मॉक दिए बिना आप कैसे जस्टिफिकेशन हो पाएगा कि आपका ये वाला टॉपिक अच्छा है या ये वाला टॉपिक वीक है. क्योंकि अगर आपको टीचर ने कोई टॉपिक लिया है, आपने वो समझा, नेक्स्ट डे वो सॉल्व किया, डन, ऐसे कहने से डन नहीं हो जाता है कोई टॉपिक. ठीक है, तो आपको मॉक देने होंगे. गाइज, इन ऑडियंस में जो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स है, तो उनका माइंड में ऐसा रहता है कि अभी तो उनका सिलेबस नहीं हुआ है, अभी तो उन्होंने ज्वाइन किया है, तो उन्होंने मॉक देना चाहिए या नहीं देना चाहिए. तो मैं अपनी साइड से एक पॉइंट ऐड करती हूँ, फिर उसमें आप लोग थोड़ा सजेशन दे सकते हो. आप लोगों को मॉक इसलिए नहीं कि आपका पूरा सिलेबस होगा तब मुझे मॉक देना है. मॉक का इम्पोर्टेंस अपना एक अलग इम्पोर्टेंस होता है. एटलीस्ट जो टॉपिक्स आपके कवर हो चुके हैं, जब आप मॉक अटेम्प्ट करते हो तो आपका टारगेट ये होना चाहिए कि मेरे जो टॉपिक्स कवर हो गए तो एटलीस्ट वो वाले टॉपिक्स मेरे हो जाए ना उसमें. ठीक है, तो ऐसा नहीं कि मेरा सिलेबस कंप्लीट होगा तो ही मैं मॉक दूंगा. अब जस्ट सपोज कि आपके जो टॉपिक्स हैं, आपका सिलेबस है, वो कंप्लीट होता है सितंबर में या फिर अक्टूबर के स्टार्टिंग में, तो तब हम मॉक देना स्टार्ट नहीं करेंगे. आपको एटलीस्ट एग्जाम से पहले इतने सफिशिएंट नंबर ऑफ मॉक्स लिखने होंगे कि आपको एग्जाम डे पे जाके ऐसे अलग से फील ना हो. जैसे रोशन ने बोला था कि समटाइम मतलब ये क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि आपसे कई बार क्वेश्चन ना होने का मतलब ये होता है कि आपने उस टाइप का क्वेश्चन की प्रैक्टिस ही नहीं की. ठीक है, तो अगर आप प्रैक्टिस करते हो बहुत अच्छे, अगर आपने मान लो 20-25 मार्क्स भी दिए हैं, तो 25 into 100 मतलब 2500 क्वेश्चंस आपने फेस किए. राइट, कंसेप्ट चेंज नहीं हो सकता. हाँ ठीक है, आरसी में आर्टिकल्स अलग हो सकता है, DILR में सेट अलग हो सकता है, पर क्वांट में इतने क्वेश्चंस लाएंगे कहाँ से? कंसेप्ट तो सेम ही रहेंगे ना उसमें. ठीक है, तो I hope you enjoy the session. So our next session will be a Q&A session. So I would like to thanks on behalf of entire team. But before that, I think guys, हमारे पास कुछ questions हैं जो students ने पूछे हैं, तो आप लोगों को थोड़ा, जैसे आयुषी का question था. आयुषी was asking कि she is a pharma student, pharma and fresher, तो उसको कितना टारगेट करना चाहिए एक आईएम्स में जाने के लिए या एक अच्छे बी स्कूल्स में जाने के लिए? क्या उसकी फार्मा की डिग्री डाइवर्सिटी में आएगी? मतलब उसके माइंड में थोड़ा ऐसे क्वेश्चंस है कि फार्मा वालों का कुछ इंपॉर्टेंस रहता है या नहीं. So please anyone.
I'll take this question up. I got a similar question from someone else as well. I think the idea. Yeah. So see, the first thing is that pharma is considered as a diversity stream. Secondly, at this stage, I personally feel that you shouldn't be thinking about whether you will get into any IIMA or what percentile you should be targeting to get into any IIMA, any IIMs. All you have to target is the best. So just target 100 percentile or 99.99, whatever is, you feel comfortable with. So at this stage, percentile isn't important. When you are preparing for CAT, it is, and this is a personal opinion, other panelists might differ. So I feel that at this stage, you just need to ensure that you have your fundamentals clear, you have all the concepts clear, and you focus solely on getting better and better each day with each mock, with each analysis, and with each extra session that you go in. And once you have done that, you will realize that when you go back 6 months in time, you will realize that you have achieved a lot more. Matlab, personal story hai, I started my first mock with 120ish, 120, 120, and I ended my 25th or 25th mock, yeah, with somewhere around 180, 190. So that's the kind of improvement that you will have to show if you want to do well in CAT. जो बोलते हैं ना कि CAT फोड़ना है, तो इस टाइप की प्रिपरेशन चाहिए कि with every mock you improve a little bit than the previous mock. Obviously there will be mocks जिसमें कम marks आएंगे as compared to the previous mock, but वो that might be because of the structure of the mock. Mocks कुछ difficult होती है, कुछ easy होती है. तो this is what you should be focusing on right now. And still answering your question कि तुम्हें कितने percentile चाहिए for pharma, for IIM, you can always see the previous years interviews. मतलब ऐसे बहुत सारे student हैं जिनके interviews YouTube पे है, जिनकी stories inside IIM या ऐसे कोई platform पे है, and they will give you an exact percentage. But still, these aren't the exact numbers. कभी कभार ऐसे cases होते हैं कि अच्छे परसेंटाइल के साथ भी नहीं मिलता है, एंड कभी कभार ऐसा भी होता है कि अच्छे परसेंटाइल के साथ मतलब कम परसेंटाइल के साथ मिल जाता है. तो डू नॉट anchor yourself to any number that is available on the internet. Think for yourself and prepare for the worst, and automatically you will get the best.
I hope Ayushi, you got your answer. And second question from Manan. Manan is asking, he is not clear as to in which field he should pursue his MBA. I think he's a student of engineering. Yes. So उसे अभी क्लियर नहीं है कि कौन सा मतलब किस फील्ड में उसको जाना है. उसको एक्चुअली इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं मालूम है अभी अपना. तो what should he do?
Ma'am, I'll take it up. So Manan, apart from SP Jain, आपको कोई भी college में you don't have to select the stream at the like before going to the college. You will discover different subjects, whatever you like or don't like, there and then. So just for SP Jain, you need some clarity, yeah, what the subjects are. You can get an insight by reading about what the subject covers and what field you like, what are the job prospects for each field. Based on that, you can probably decide. You can talk to some person who has already done an MBA on a one-to-one basis, and he will tell you what field is probably apt for you given your background and your interest. But इतना अभी सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. That's what I feel too. मतलब right now focus on your CAT, ZAT, yeah, whatever exam, and then your interviews. You will figure it out in time that what you want to do.
Okay. I hope Manan, you got your answer. So next question is from Yash. Yash, 10th percentage is 95 and 12th is 70 and graduation is 9 CGPA. So being them, how much I need to get into those Holy Trinity? I am A, B, C. Yes, please anyone. His 12th score is 70%. बाकी तो सब manage है. 10th 95 and undergraduation is 9 CGPA.
मैम स्टूडेंट का नाम
Yash.
यश. सो हाय, आंसरिंग योर क्वेश्चन. सी 10th का सही है, सो अंडरग्रेड का भी काफी सही है, 12th में कम है, आई अग्री. सो वन थिंग इज फॉर श्योर कि इंटरव्यूज में तो ये पूछेंगे कि क्या हो गया था 12th में, and you need to have a story ready around that part. Secondly, when you are targeting percentiles based on this, especially for ABC, so you need to check how much is the weightage that these three colleges actually give to the 10th 12th marks. As far as I remember, during our time, 10th 12th and undergrad overall was somewhere around 10 to 15% only, and the rest 85% was CAT percentile, and I think some other extra correction co-corrects were also had a little bit of weightage, and WorkX diversity obviously will have those weightages, and same goes for B and C, but obviously they will have different weightages. Again, scoring 12th ka specific percentage is not going to hamper your getting a call from any of these three institutes if you score well in CAT. I don't know your background exactly, but if you are a GEM fresher, then probably you need to score somewhere in the range of 99.7 plus. If you are like, then according to diversity and your kind and your WorkX and your gender, sorry, not exactly gender for you, but yeah, it will slowly go down relatively. But for the Holy Trinity, as you put it, I'm pretty sure that you will need a score of anywhere above 98% for sure, given any situation, especially so yeah, that depends on your background obviously, but you should be targeting 99.7 plus if you are GEM fresher.
Okay, so next question is Shivani. Shivani बहुत normal मतलब एक बहुत general question पूछा उन्होंने. Fee for an MBA, so how can one afford to pay? और क्या ये वर्थ है MBA में इतना फी, मींस ऐसे इतना फी डालना और उसके बाद MBA करना 20-25 lakhs, is it worth? So I think कौन आंसर देगा ये, मतलब मन तो मेरा ही है कि मतलब वर्थ है कि नहीं, बट
काफी फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया है.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली.
मतलब अगर ये दिमाग है तो फिर MBA ठीक है, सोचने लायक है, करना जैसा है भी नहीं, बट दिस इज अ बेसिक क्वेश्चन ऑन रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट, एंड I had talked about this in one of my previous webinars as well. खास करके इस सिचुएशन में is the fees worth it? मतलब any good institute कहीं पे भी जाओ, fees are somewhere in the range of 18 to 30 lakhs. तो सी बेसिक अगर देखने जाए तो कोई भी इंस्टीट्यूट का रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट हम लोग कैलकुलेट करते हैं, तब हम लोग देखते हैं कि एवरेज पैकेज कितना है once you leave that institute, and based on that you can calculate the ROI very easily. But apart from that, there is always the opportunity cost of doing an MBA. मतलब 25 लाख अभी इन्वेस्ट कर दिए FD में या कोई स्टॉक्स में, तो उसका कितना मिलेगा, मतलब 8% 6% कितना बैंक देगी. अब ये सब अगर गिनने जाए तो क्वांटिफाइबल अगर हम लोग देखें तो MBA का कोई वर्थ नहीं निकलेगा. बट द थिंग अबाउट MBA इज दैट whatever are the learnings that MBA teaches is not cannot be exactly quantified. सॉफ्ट स्किल्स है या फिर स्ट्रेस से कैसे तुम डील करते हो, ये जो सारी चीजें हैं, द सॉफ्टवेयर लर्निंग और द सॉफ्टवेयर एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ MBA, ये सारी चीजें तुम्हें और कहीं नहीं मिलेगी. एंड दिस इज वन थिंग दैट आई हैव ऑलवेज बिलीव्ड इन, कि MBA के 2 साल तुम्हें कोई भी नॉर्मल बंदा जो अंडर ग्रेजुएशन के बाद जॉब लेगा, MBA के 2 साल आर इक्विवेलेंट टू 10 years of your work ex, and this shows. किसी भी इंसान को पूछ लो who has done an MBA and they will tell you the same thing, that 2 years of MBA are equivalent to 10 years of work ex. And obviously MBA, if you do MBA from any of the top institutes, there is the network that you get, and the value of the network is something that is invaluable. So that's one thing. And secondly, obviously loans are always available with 1 year moratorium. So yeah, वो जो opportunity cost का जो भी फंडा है वो भी निकल जाता है एक तरीके से. So overall, you cannot quantify it just in money terms because MBA is much more than that.
Yes. So I hope. हाँ, yes, please.
I would also like to add, मतलब एक दूसरा रीजन ये है कि आप कहीं पे भी अगर आप जॉब स्टार्ट कर रहे हो तो एक ऐसा पॉइंट आएगा जिसके बाद आपका करियर ग्रोथ होगा ही नहीं. वहाँ पे आपको एक कोई ना कोई मास्टर्स की डिग्री होना बहुत ही ज़्यादा ज़रूरी हो जाता है क्योंकि वो क्वालिफिकेशन बन जाता है. आप लोअर लेवल मैनेजमेंट अगर आ भी जाते हो तो मिडिल लेवल या टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट पे नहीं जा पाओगे. उस टाइम पे अगर आप एग्जीक्यूटिव एमबीए करने चाहोगे तो वो भी उतना ही महंगा रहेगा. और दूसरा ये है कि आपका पढ़ाई से कोई कनेक्ट रहेगा नहीं. और जो एक फुल टाइम जो 2 years एमबीए प्रोग्राम होता है वो आपको जो चीज़ें प्रोवाइड करेगा वो एग्जीक्यूटिव में नहीं होती है. लोग वहाँ अगर एग्जीक्यूटिव एमबीए में आप जाते हैं तो वहाँ तो लोग मतलब भागा भागी में होते हैं कि उनको जल्दी जल्दी खत्म करके और फिर वापस जाना है कंपनी में. आप एक सही पेस पर सारी चीज़ें सही टाइम पर अगर सीख लो तो ये काफ़ी सही अपॉर्चुनिटी रहती है. और अगर आपको करियर ग्रोथ चाहिए कि आपको कहीं पे कोई ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन ना आए तो आपको कोई ना कोई मास्टर्स डिग्री तो करनी ही पड़ेगी. और रेलेवेंट सबसे ज़्यादा एमबीए है.
I'd like to add to Ashish का point कि मतलब I usually see it as a graph जहाँ पे y-axis is your salary या जो भी आपका net worth है and x-axis is something which is your age in years, right? And what I see a line graph जहाँ पे without MBA you have a much lesser slope and with MBA your slope increases a lot. So that's what I feel about.
Okay, तो आई होप बाकी सारे लोगों को भी आंसर मिला इस चीज का बिकॉज ये बहुत जनरल क्वेश्चंस होता है कि सी इतना सारा पैसा क्यों लगाना है और ये सब क्यों करना है. तो इट्स टोटली डिपेंड ऑन ROI, लाइक रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट. अगर आप आज आपने जैसे सभी ने आंसर किया ही है आपको, ठीक है, तो एक अपर कैप से बचने के लिए बिकॉज अगर आप IT इंजीनियर भी हो एक्सेप्ट अगर हाँ ठीक है आप मतलब एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी है और आप बहुत अच्छा टेक फील्ड में अच्छा कर रहे हो तो भी एक लिमिट आ जाएगी आपकी, ठीक है. और आपने क्लास में भी देखा लाइक अगर आपने मान लो किसी स्पेसिफिक ब्रांच से किया है तो वहां पे भी आपकी लिमिट आ जाती है आपकी सैलरी में, आपकी ग्रोथ में. चलो सैलरी इज द सेकेंडरी थिंग, तो आपकी ग्रोथ में भी आपसे एक कम एज वाला बंदा आपके यहाँ पे मैनेजर की पोस्ट पे आएगा और आपको उसके अंडर में काम करना होगा, राइट. तो ये तो मनी फैक्टर है ही नहीं, वो सब अरेंज हो ही जाता है. 20-25 लाख अगर आप कोई बिजनेस आगे जाके स्टार्ट भी करने वाले हो तो मनी फैक्टर नहीं होना चाहिए. और जैसे अभिन ने बोला लॉन्स वगैरह का फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल होता है. अगर आपको एक अच्छे कॉलेज का कॉल है तो बैंक आपको सामने से बोलेगा ले जा भाई, ठीक है. चलिए ओके, सो आवर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम मौलिक. देयर इज एनी स्पेसिफिक डिग्री इन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप? जिमित, यस.
तो मैम आई टेक इट अप. तो मतलब काफ़ी सारी कॉलेजेस एंड इंस्टीट्यूट्स है जो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की डिग्रीज प्रोवाइड करती है. एंड मतलब अगर आप वैल्यू के हिसाब से देखें, इफ़ यू वांट टू बी एन एंटरप्रेन्योर तो उसमें बनने के लिए जो लर्निंग्स चाहिए, नेटवर्क्स चाहिए, आप वो MBA से ज़्यादा अच्छे से कर सकते हो. बिकॉज यू विल बी एबल टू फाइंड मोर पीपल इन MBA परसुइंग MBA जो ज़्यादा सीरियस होता है, जो रिगरस होता है. एंड जो MBA का जो करिकुलम जिस हिसाब से सारी कॉलेज में डिज़ाइन होता है, दैट विल बी एबल टू हेल्प यू डेवलप ओवरऑल वेल. मतलब आपका ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट काफ़ी अच्छा होगा. मेरे काफ़ी दोस्त ऐसे हैं जो पास आउट भी हो चुके हैं और करंट भी ऐसे सिचुएशन में है कि जिनका फैमिली बिजनेस है. दे ओनली केम टू परस्यू MBA जस्ट बिकॉज दे वांट टू जॉइन देयर फैमिली बिजनेस एंड ग्रो इट, नॉट बिकॉज दे वांटेड प्लेसमेंट्स. मतलब जो ROI का जो फंडा पहले था क्वेश्चन में कि भाई वो लोग 20-25 लाख की फी भर के सिर्फ इसलिए भी आता है कि उनको प्लेसमेंट नहीं चाहिए, उनको सिर्फ अपना फैमिली बिजनेस ज्वाइन करना है. बट दे वांट टू बी ट्रेन्ड इन अ वे दैट दे विल बी एबल टू हैंडल द बिजनेस वेल. और अगर आपको खुद का भी करना है तो यू विल बी एबल टू फाइंड मोर माइंड्स और अच्छे लोग जिसके साथ आप डिस्कस कर सकते हो सारे आइडियाज इन MBA वेल. हाँ, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के काफी कोर्सेज है जो दूसरी इंस्टीट्यूट्स प्रोवाइड करती है, उसमें लोग जाते भी है। मतलब मोस्टली, मतलब मैंने जिस हिसाब से देखा है तो बड़े बड़े बिजनेसमैन के बेटे या फिर जो भी हो, दे नो दैट दे विल बी जॉइनिंग देयर फैमिली बिजनेस, दे प्रीफर दोज काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि भाई वो लोग एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का मास्टर्स का कोई अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूट से प्रोग्राम कर ले। बट इफ यू रियली वांट टू लर्न, आई थिंक एमबीए बेटर है, और उसके बाद भी आप एंटरप्रेन्योर बन सकते हो, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं।
Okay, and next question is, ये भी एक बहुत जनरल क्वेश्चन है जो जनरली स्टूडेंट्स के माइंड में रहता है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम कैट स्कोर, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ थिंग शुड ही डू टू इम्प्रूव हिज प्रोफाइल फॉर द इंटरव्यू? Yes, please, anyone?
I will take up this. Apart from CAT score, आप ये सारी चीज़ें देख सकते हैं कि आपके एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स अगर कोई हैं स्कूल में या अभी कॉलेज में, या अगर आप अभी फर्स्ट ईयर या सेकंड ईयर में है कॉलेज के, यानी कि आपका कैट अगर दूर है, तो आप कॉलेज में अभी भी एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ में पार्ट ले सकते हैं, जो अगर आपको अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ नहीं है कॉलेजेस में कि एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर या किसी भी और एक्टिविटी की, स्पोर्ट्स की या कोई भी, तो आप अगर स्कूल की भी नहीं है तो आप क्या कीजिए कि हॉबीज़ जो आपकी हैं, ठीक है, आप कोई ऐसी हॉबी के फॉर एग्जांपल रीडिंग नहीं, पर जैसे कि अगर आप रीडिंग रख रहे हैं या कोई अगर स्पोर्ट आपका हॉबी है, तो अगर कोई भी स्पोर्ट हॉबी है तो बहुत सारे ऐसे लोकल टूर्नामेंट्स वगैरह होते हैं और स्टेट लेवल टूर्नामेंट्स भी होते हैं, अगर आप चाहते हैं तो आप वहाँ जा सकते हैं. उसके अलावा अगर आपकी जैसे कोई हॉबी है जैसे कि गिटार बजाना फॉर एग्जांपल, तो आप वो शोकेस कैसे कर सकते हैं वो चीज़ें लाइए. कुछ ऐसा प्रूफ या कुछ ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म्स आपको जो मिले, लोकली मिले या किसी कहीं पे भी, तो आप वहाँ पे जाइए और अपनी हॉबी को परस्यू कीजिए. आपकी हॉबी को आप वहाँ ऐड कर सकते हो. उसके अलावा बहुत सारे ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज होते हैं, पर अगर मतलब कुछ भी नहीं है ऐसे, तो लास्ट ऑप्शन आप ये देख सकते हो कि कुछ सर्टिफाइड कोर्सेज कर लिए और जिनका कोई रेलेवेंस ज़्यादा हो, तो आप वैसे सारे कोर्सेज कर सकते हैं. जैसे अभी के टाइम पे यूडेमी है, कोर्सेरा है, इन लोगों ने काफ़ी सारे अच्छे अच्छे कोर्सेज फ्री कर दिए हैं, तो आप वो यूटिलाइज कर सकते हो ताकि आप ज़्यादा रिलेवेंट आपका प्रोफाइल बन सके एमबीए के लिए.
Okay. Next question is from Milan. Milan का actually question है, 1 year gap will affect shortlisting in internship or final placement in finance something कुछ. Okay, ठीक है, means finance background. तो question ये है कि 1 year gap will affect shortlisting in internship or final placements in college.
I have 1 year gap in my profile, so इतना ज़्यादा कुछ मैटर करता ही नहीं कि आपका गैप है या नहीं है. दे मेजरली अगर आप देखो तो आपका जो अकेड्स है, अगर आपका 10th 12th ग्रेजुएशन है, ग्रेजुएशन के बाद भी अगर 1 ईयर का गैप है, तो वो सिर्फ आपके करिकुलम विटा या रेज्यूमे की सिर्फ 3 लाइन होगी, ठीक है. अगर कहीं पे भी गैप है तो 10th और 12th के अगर टाइम पर गैप है तो वो एक बार क्वेश्चनेबल हो जाता है, पर ग्रेजुएशन और फिर एमबीए के बीच में अगर गैप है तो वो उतना ज़्यादा वो नहीं होता है. और उस टाइम के लिए जब आप एमबीए में जाओगे तो आप कोई ना कोई एक स्टोरी डेवलप कर ही सकते हो, या एक्चुअली अगर आपने कुछ किया तो उसमें से अगर कुछ भी रेलेवेंट चीज़ें हैं अगर उनमें, तो आप वो बता सकते हो. नहीं तो वो गैप इतना मैटर नहीं करता है. मतलब हार्डली कोई ऐसी कंपनी होगी जो ऐसे कुछ पूछती है कि गैप क्यों है.
ओके, तो मैंने यहाँ पे कुछ क्वेश्चंस लिए हैं जो कुछ स्टूडेंट्स के जनरल क्वेश्चंस है कि ईयर गैप का क्या इशू हो सकता है या फिर 10th 12th का परसेंटाइल ये वगैरह, ठीक है. तो अगर उसके बाद भी आपको कोई डाउट रहता है तो मैंने चैट बॉक्स में आपको ईमेल आईडी भी प्रोवाइड किया, आप वहाँ पे भी पूछ सकते हो. तो आई होप यू एंजॉय द सेशन आई थिंक, एंड फॉर आवर इनवाइटेड अचीवर्स, I would like to thank on behalf of entire CL team to all the speakers for sharing their valuable time with us. Okay, so guys, you exceptionally help us to motivate the students. So I think thank you Rohan sir, thank you Ashish, Karanpreet, Jimit, and Abhin and Roshan and Komal. Komal actually उनका एक webinar और प्लान था तो अभी नहीं है, वो अभी just गई हैं, ठीक है. ओके तो आई थिंक आप लोगों को एक मोटिवेशन मिला है कि आपको एक अच्छे कॉलेज में कैसे जाना है, और अभी भी लेट नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है, आप अभी भी स्टडी कर सकते हो। इन लोगों ने भी आपको फोकस बहुत बहुत ज्यादा ऐसे फोकस किया कि आपको मॉक भी लिखना है, ठीक है, आपको ऐसा मॉक लिखना है, स्टडी करना है और प्रैक्टिस करना है, ठीक है। तो आप अच्छे कॉलेज में एंटर कर सकते हो, आराम से अच्छे कॉलेज में एंटर कर सकते हो, ठीक है। आपके पास बहुत सारी चॉइसेस हैं, सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने सिर्फ एक कॉलेज को टारगेट किया, वो नहीं मिला, बस सब कुछ एंड हो गया, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है, ठीक है। तो आपको हमेशा क्लाउड वाइज कॉलेज को टारगेट कीजिए। मुझे टॉप क्लाउड के कॉलेजेस में जाना है, लाइक आईएम्स है मेरे पास में एमबीआई है, एनएमआईएमएस है, मेरे पास एसआईबीएम पुणे है या एससीएमएचआरडी है, ठीक है। तो आपके पास काफी सारे ऑप्शंस है। तो अभी आपको मेन चीज किस पे फोकस करना है कि आपको सिर्फ स्टडी करना है अच्छे से। देखो आपका 10th 12th का स्कोर अब आपके हाथ में नहीं रहा, अच्छा मैं अगर आपको बोलती हूँ कि ठीक है आपका 12th का स्कोर 70% है, आपको आईएम्स का कॉल नहीं आएगा, तो क्या आप प्रिपरेशन छोड़ दोगे? नहीं, मुझे सिर्फ चलो ये वाला कॉलेज का कॉल नहीं आएगा, लेकिन मेरे पास काफी निटी है जो आपके स्कोर्स को जो आपके 10th 12th के उसको देखता नहीं है, तो काफी सारे कॉलेजेस भी हैं आपके पास, ठीक है। तो माइंड से निकाल दीजिए कि मेरा ग्रेजुएशन का ये स्कोर रह गया, तो मुझे प्रिपरेशन करूं या ना करूं। प्रिपरेशन करो, एमबीए तो करना ही है, एमबीए तो करना है, ठीक है। तो उस पे हम प्रोफाइल लेवल पे और बाद में और भी आपके कुछ सेशंस रहेंगे, उसमें भी डिस्कशंस होगा। आई होप मैं आप लोगों को थोड़ा फ्री कर देती हूँ। आप लोगों ने बहुत सारा टाइम दिया एंड थैंक यू सो मच, ठीक है। थैंक यू ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ ऑल सीएल टीम। यस रोहन सर, कोई क्वेश्चंस या ऐसा कुछ? आई थिंक ठीक है, ओके one second, thank you. Yes,
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having us over here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
thank you,
I would like
thank
to
you,
add
Roshan.
1-2 points। मतलब
हाँ,
ऐसा
yes,
है
yes.
कि कैट के प्रिपरेशन के टाइम पे, और जो तो अगर कोई मतलब गैप ईयर वाले हैं या कॉलेज खत्म हो गया है या ऐसा कुछ है, तो उनको सारी लाइफ सुधारा टाइप की चीजें ना अभी ध्यान आती है कि अच्छा थोड़ा मतलब ऐसे बॉडी शेप में नहीं है तो जिम अभी जाना चाहिए, और एक रूटीन बनाते हैं डेली, ये वो सारी चीजें अभी ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है। अभी जो है आप टाइम इस पर ध्यान दो कि आपको पढ़ाई कैसे करनी है, और आपका स्टडीज का शेड्यूल पूरा होना चाहिए, ना कि ये कि इधर थोड़ा ये हो गया वो हो गया। और अगर आप मल्टीपल चीजों में ऐसे ऐसे फोकस नहीं होगा, आपका मेन फोकस यहाँ पे ही होना चाहिए कि आप अभी पढ़ाई कर रहे हो और आपको इसी साल मतलब ऐसे क्रैक करके निकलना है। और दूसरा ये है कि हम सब यहाँ पे जो हैं, मतलब जो स्पीकर्स हैं या जो होस्ट है, तो हम लोग कोई एलियन नहीं है। अगर हम लोगों से हो रहा है तो सब लोगों से हो सकता है, बस डेडिकेशन लेवल उतना होना चाहिए। और अभी के टाइम पे अब जैसे वर्चुअल टाइम आ गया है या क्लासेस वगैरह आप कहीं नहीं जा सकते हैं, आप अपने अगर आपके बाकी फ्रेंड्स जिनके साथ आप पढ़ रहे हैं तो वो अगर नहीं मिलते हैं, तो ऐसे टाइम पर बहुत सारी चीज़ें मैटर कर जाती है। अब जैसे कि अगर आपको मोटिवेशन मिलता है अगर कुछ अच्छा खाने से या कुछ अच्छा देखने से या अच्छे गाने सुनने से, तो आप रोज़ वो चीज़ें कीजिए। रोज़ कुछ ना कुछ एक ऐसा आपका होना चाहिए जो चेरिशेबल मोमेंट आपका दिन में हो ही हो। उसके अलावा अब जैसे कुछ लोगों को अगर उनकी बियर्ड ज्यादा है तो वो भी बहुत ज्यादा ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन कर सकती है, ग्लूमी और डिमोटिवेटेड काइंड ऑफ फीलिंग लाती है। तो आपके लिए जो चीज वर्क करती है आप उस पर फोकस करो, और बस टारगेट ये रखो कि जितना हो सके उतना बेटर आप परफॉर्म करो।
एक स्टूडेंट का आंसर रह गया है। डू वी हैव, उन्होंने बार बार वो रिक्वेस्ट किया, उनका एक क्वेश्चन छूट गया था मुझसे। Do we have to select a particular field in MBA to make growth in, like entrepreneurship or finance or HR? तो
कोई स्पेसिफिक ऐसे वो नहीं है। अब आपका अगर इंटरेस्ट मार्केटिंग में है तो आप आगे जाके मार्केटिंग कंसल्टिंग फर्म भी खोल सकते हैं। अगर आपका इंटरेस्ट फाइनेंस में तो आप फाइनेंस रिलेटेड खोलोगे, या तो आपको अगर कुछ और ही कोई स्टार्टअप या ऐसे कुछ खोलना है तो कुछ ऐसा पर्टिकुलर नहीं है कि आपको इस फील्ड में सिलेक्ट करनी चाहिए, वो फील्ड सिलेक्ट करनी चाहिए। बस ऐसा है कि आपका जो ब्रेन है वो उन डायरेक्शन में काम करना चाहिए। जैसे कि अगर फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप एचआर में जैसे मैं हूँ, तो मेरा दिमाग सिर्फ HR तक लिमिटेड नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर मेरा प्लान एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का है तो मुझे देखना चाहिए कि इन जनरल बिजनेस में क्या क्या चीजें आएंगी, और मुझे कुछ जैसे अगर ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज हैं, छोटे बहुत ट्यूटोरियल्स हैं, यूट्यूब वीडियोस होते हैं हर चीज के बारे में, तो वहां से आप टारगेट कर सकते हैं कि कैसे अपना ब्रेन एक्सपांड करें।
ओके, तो आई होप मोस्टली आंसर हमारे हो ही गए थे, ठीक है। ओके, थैंक यू आशीष, थैंक यू करणप्रीत, थैंक यू
Thank you,
जीवित, रोशन, अबिन, थैंक यू सो मच। यस,
Thank you, ma'am.
थैंक यू।